Hi, welcome back to Eepa's Kitchen. So today we're going to do something that family likes, and it's going to revolve around some taters. And you say, taters? What's taters? Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. But in this case, we're just going to cut them up and we're going to fry them. Something that's kind of a family favorite around here. Whenever we have like some leftover ham, we like to fry these potatoes. They're great for breakfast. I like them on tacos. So we've got some fingerling potatoes that we're starting to age out, and the boss wanted potatoes done, so I figured I'd do this for today. Got some mushrooms, some red bell pepper, just some Vidalia onion. I had some leftover ham, a little bit of jalapeno, and some garlic. And the thing that makes this recipe is this right here in this cup. This is gold. This is leftover bacon drippings. My mom used to use this. We always had a big mug in the fridge. This stuff has so much flavor in it that if you're not saving your bacon fat, you can go ahead and say it. You can say you're not. It's okay. I won't shame you. You need to start because this stuff is awesome. May not be great for your cholesterol, but it adds so much flavor to when you're cooking that this is like a staple. So I would definitely recommend get an old mug. When you're done with whatever you're cooking bacon, let it cool a little bit, pour the grease into a cup, stick it in the fridge, you're good to go. So we're going to start off. I'm going to get the skillet warmed up. We're going to put a little bit of bacon fat in there. We'll get the garlic starting to just sweat a little bit. We'll start adding the ingredients slowly, get them going. This takes about half hour or so in the pan, depending on how hot it is. Total prep time was, I don't know, 15 minutes. This is pretty quick and it's delicious. And you know, you can eat it as a side, you can eat it as a meal. I like it on tortillas, so we're gonna probably make a little taco with it later. And we're gonna go from there. So I'm gonna get the skillet heated up and we're gonna get moving. All right, so we're going to add some of the bacon fat to the skillet. Maybe, maybe not. Get the scooper. All right, we're going to let that melt down a little bit. Nice thing about this too is it also helps season the skillet. So those of you who have a little sticking problem, this helps too. So it's like a big tablespoon of it. Depending on how much you have in here, you might add a little bit more. You can do this with olive oil if you want. It's a little less on the little cholesterol side. And it doesn't taste bad. But when I've made it with olive oil and made it with this, there's a huge difference. And when, you know, the family, they're like, what did you do different? Because it's not as good. So that's why it's a great idea to have your bacon fat. Makes the masses happy. So as soon as that warms up a little bit, we'll add the garlic and just let it start to sweat. As soon as it starts to get that fragrance to it, we'll put the potatoes in. We'll add a little bit of salt and pepper to them. Potatoes will cook for 10, 15 minutes or so, just so they start to crisp up a little bit. And then we'll just start adding everything else into it. The onions will come next because they take just a little bit longer, and then everything else just kind of goes in at the same time after that. All right, so we're going to give that a second to heat up, and then we'll get the garlic in. All right, garlic's in. It's starting to sizzle a little bit. You can see it hopping a little bit there. I don't want it to get too overcooked because, again, you burn that garlic, it gets bitter. Just want it to start to sweat. I can smell it right now, so I'm going to put the potatoes in. And with the potatoes, once they're cut, I usually rinse them in cold water or just soak them in a pan of cold water for a little bit. It helps take the starch out. So you just rinse them a little bit, and it keeps them from turning black. Just a little bit of sea salt over the top. And some cracked black pepper. I don't have any set portions on the vegetables that we put in or the ham. It's just kind of like whatever you got around. That's another nice thing about this recipe is you can kind of clear out your fridge, your crisper drawer or whatever. Bacon's good in here as well, obviously because of the fat, but you gotta add bacon to it. I would cook the bacon first though. And I got it on a medium-high heat. I like the potatoes to be a little bit brown and crispy on the outside before we start adding the other stuff. So we're going to go with the medium-high heat on it. All right, we're going to let that cook for a little bit. We'll check back in a sec. So I just, stirred these. I pulled one out and tried it. They're starting to soften up. So, and they do have a little bit of brown on them, which is where we want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and add the onions right now. And don't be afraid if you feel like things are getting a little dry to add more bacon fat. There's a chef I follow who is awesome. And his favorite phrase is fat is flavor. And I tend to agree with that when it comes to this bacon fat. So we're going to go ahead and stir this up. And there's still quite a bit on there. You can see that it's kind of glistening. But we're not going to add anything right now. We're just going to keep stirring and scraping occasionally. We want to just kind of keep cleaning the bottom of the pan, because a little bit of that garlic will stick, or some of the potato will start to stick a little bit in there. Just keep scraping that off, because you're just going to add that flavor right back into the recipe. Enough of that. Let it sit for a little bit. Come back and decide what we're going to add next. All right, so the onions are getting a little translucent. Potatoes are continuing to brown, so that's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and add the red peppers. You don't have to use red. I just like these because it's going to pop with color-wise. It's going to make it look nice. Any pepper you have works great. But the local store had a sale on a red one, and I thought it would look very nice in here. We had a red, a yellow, and an orange in the fridge. And I used the yellow on something else, so all I got left is the orange. I had red peppers to soften it up, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the jalapeno in. It's just one. I seeded it. I didn't leave, obviously I didn't leave all the little seeds in just to kind of tone it down a little bit, because we're going to use some Eepa Sriracha later. So I don't want to overdo it, but it does add some nice flavor. And that jalapeno, by the way, came from the garden last year. At the end of the year, we had some left over that we weren't using. And if you just lay them out and freeze them, and then you can bag them, they hold up real nice. So they're not great for like doing like anything you want a really nice, firm, fresh pepper in, but they're great for stuff that you're cooking. So if you're not going to cook them, it's not going to be great. But if you're cooking the frozen jalapenos, they work out really nice. And it's, after a while, I can only give so many away. I can only make so much jardinere and salsa. So, all right, we're going to let that go a little bit. Mushrooms will go in a bit with the ham, and then we're probably 10 minutes out after that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the mushrooms in, and I'm going to put the ham in right after it. Again, it's a nice use of leftover ham. I do the ham and the mushrooms last because they have a little bit more water content in them. I want to make sure everything gets crisped up first. And there's not a whole lot of work you're doing with the ham. You're just trying to get it heated up. Mushrooms don't take long to start to turn. So we are going to turn this. Probably go about 10 minutes just to make sure the mushrooms get cooked a little bit. And I'm going to try it out. All right, they look like they're good to go. I'm going to pull it. I just put a tortilla in here to warm up. I'm going to turn the flame off. You can add cheese to this. Management likes hers with Parmesan. I'll do cheddar once in a while. I think Derek recommended Asiago. So pretty much any kind of cheese you want. So I'm going to bring it over here. Get a little Eepa Sriracha on it. Can't go wrong with Eepa Sriracha sauce. Not at your finest local retailers though. Only here. This stuff's pretty spicy, so a little bit goes a long way. All right, I'm gonna eat mine, let you know how it is, and then we're gonna make Derek one and let him get out of here. All right. Oh, hot. Potatoes turned out great. They got a little bit of crispness on it where they caramelized on the pan. The mushrooms are fantastic. I don't know where I got them. There was only like 4 left in there. There's some pretty good sized one. The ham adds a nice texture to it, a little bit of saltiness. And you can catch, even with the Eepas, you can catch a little bit of the jalapeno on there. The bell peppers are sweet. So you got all these different flavors mixed together. Again, onions, peppers, mushrooms. You leave one out, that's okay. You have something extra you want to put in, that's okay too. This is kind of like what my mom used to make. We just add a little bit more to it. But it was simple. So maybe 15 minutes to get it prepped. I think we were on the stove for a half hour. So it really depends on how much you got in the pan. I recommend this. It's great for breakfast. It's a great side. You're doing scrambled eggs or whatever, pancakes, whatever. It's a nice side. But it's a nice dish on its own. When management's good at home tonight, this is what she'll just have for dinner. So I highly recommend you try this out. And then, let us know what you think. Again, like I say all the time, it's not about just what I do. It's your ideas. Let us know what you've done. What's something different that you would add or take out or put in. But give it a try. Let us know. I'm going to stop talking because I want to eat. Now my mouth's watering. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, I don't want to know about it. Share. Tell your friends. Subscribe. And we'll see you, I guess, back here in a week or so. So for me and Derek, thanks a lot for stopping by. I'm going to make Derek a taco, so go away.